Hi, everybody. So today I got a good one for you, a quickie but a goodie, um, about how to two ways of inverting a chord. So, um, you know, you could play a chord like a C6 and you can invert it, right? And inverting means putting the bottom note to the top, right? And so on. Well, there's actually a couple of ways of doing this when you get into the other voicings, the drop 2, the drop 3, and the drop 2 and 4. And let's have a look at that. So here's my drop 2 and 4 C6, right? And again, the way I got to that is I took this C6 and I took the second voice down and the fourth voice down, and I dropped them down an octave. And this gives me a drop 2 and 4. So I could invert the same way by moving the bottom note to the top, the G to the top, the E to the top, and the A to the top. So that's a very cool way of inverting. One more time. The other way of inverting is where you move up to the nearest chord tone. And it's actually the same as if I did every one of these as a drop 2. So here's my root position, C6. In close position, I drop 2 and 4, I end up with this. Here's my first inversion, C6. I drop 2 and 4, I end up with this. Here's my second inversion, drop 2 and 4. And here's my third inversion, drop 2 and 4. And that gives me this. So that's the other way of inverting. There's two ways of thinking of that. You either invert it as though it were closed position, or the way I like to think of it is I just go up to the nearest chord tone. So this one goes up here, this one goes up here, this one goes up here, this one goes up here. Next chord tone. And so on. And this is the one that we use when we do the scale. What scale, do you ask? The sixth diminished scale. But the other way of inverting it, let's see what that'll give us. I've never tried this. This one moves to the top. That actually gives us a drop 3, turns out. Let's invert it again. So here's where I started, drop 2 and 4. Invert it again. Invert it once by putting the C on top. This time we're inverting by putting the bottom note on the top. That gave us a drop 3, with G as the drop 3. Let's invert it again. Yeah, then it gives me a drop 2. Look at that. So by inverting that way, you cycle through the different voicings. And I think this one doesn't do that. This is like a drop 2 and 3. That's a pretty one too. Goodness gracious. So look at that. You can do a drop 2 and 3. What would drop 2 and 3 be with C on the bottom? There we go. Drop 2 and 3. Who knew? And how did we get to it? We got to it by inverting the bottom note to the top from a drop 2 and 4 voicing. Whoa, I did that wrong. I didn't do it wrong. I did it right. And here it is. Anyway, that's it. A nice one and a good one for our inverting fun. I guess all we have to do is do this in minor 6, 7, 7 flat 5 in all 12 keys. So not too bad. I wonder what 7 would be like. 7 flat 5. There it is. So you never run out of cool ways of doing this stuff. So 2 ways of inverting a chord. And hope it was useful. And please like, subscribe, check me out on Patreon. I'll link everything in the description. And keep swinging out there.